this Saturday is Impact Final Resolution at the Don Call Arena in Toronto. We're going to talk about that and so much more with our guest right now. Very excited to introduce the one and only most professional wrestler, Brian Myers, joins us now. Hello.
What's up, guys? And what an intro video I just watched there, man. Excellent stuff.
Sorry about that.
We still need to get me really in the mood for this 10 a.m. interview.
Yes. We don't do anything serious on this show, Brian. I mean, you're usually working with Cardona. He's super serious.
Way too serious. Yeah.
Yes, very serious.
His butthole's like this tight at all times.
Thank you for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it. Before we jump into Final Resolution, I do want to ask about the show that's airing tonight on or not tonight. Sorry, it's Wednesday. Oh my gosh, very messed up. Airing tomorrow, Thursday, the Impact AAA show. You're teaming with Taurus against Laredo Kid and Tommy Dreamer. What was it like working with AAA, going down there to Mexico and working that show?
You know what? It was a unbelievable experience. It was awesome because I've wrestled in Mexico so many times, but it's always under the WWE umbrella, shall we say. And then, when WWE goes to different places, we don't change what we do. We do the same show. You know what I mean? So this felt a lot more authentic for me for the first time. And it was really cool to be in there with Taurus, somebody who I've wrestled quite a few times at Impact and I have quite a relationship with. And Laredo Kid's super talented. And to be in there with such a famous, legendary luchador like Tommy Dreamer, I mean, that was just icing on the cake. But it was an incredible experience. It was cool to work for Conan like that, and AAA, which is a company that I've honestly, and I said this in one of the interviews, I got when Worlds Collide, like tape trading back in like the mid 90s, and it like actually like changed my life fandom wise, because it was the first time I saw something outside of WWF and WCW, and it really just kind of like blew my mind, to this day. And that show holds up the test of time. The crowd reactions and the emotions that are involved in that show, I highly suggest somebody who doesn't know to seek it out, because it's great.
Your current tag team, you're working with Moose, and I want to bring this up because we're going now, and since we're talking Mexico, let's go to the UK too. You guys recently did the UK tour shortly after the announcement of the TNA wrestling return, and you got to team with Moose and Deonna Purrazzo. I cover Impact for the site, and I noticed that y'all had matching gear. Was this something that was like happenstance? Did y'all have group chat? Like, this is the weirdest thing to me when random trios start matching their gear together.
I would say all of the above. We kind of just all figured it out. So, hey, what are you guys going to wear? And we all realized, oh crap, we actually had multiple options, which was kind of bizarre and, like you said, happenstance. But Moose, extremely talented, awesome dude. I've had a blast getting to know him, tagging with him, becoming friends with him. I just think the world of him. I think the sky's the limit for him and his talent. And Deonna, I mean, I've known Deonna pretty much from when she started, and we've become great friends, and I think the world of her too. She's, I mean, literally one of the most talented female wrestlers in the world. So it was really cool to have that match and tag with my friends, and then have a kick-ass match, all together like that. It was just a great experience.
We mentioned the rebrand, the rechange, the reformat to TNA Wrestling happening in January. You were a part of TNA Wrestling for a little bit in 2015, did a handful of shows with them. Did you grow up watching TNA? I know you were in the WWE system for almost right out of the gate, but did you keep tabs on TNA? What do you think of them switching back from Impact to TNA Wrestling?
So a couple of things. Back to kind of what I was saying about When Worlds Collide. I just have loved wrestling since I was 5, like to a sick degree. I mean, anytime I found more stuff, it was just like the more the better. You know what I mean? I found ECW, fell in love with that. I realized that independent wrestling was the thing, and I would go to local shows and just dive deep into that. And then, of course, here comes TNA. And actually, at that time, and I've done a couple interviews and confessed this, guys, but my dad is so awesome that he got the hot box. Are you guys familiar with the hot box?
Oh, yes.
Around that time. So I was like a day one TNA guy, and I saw all those Wednesday night pay-per-views, didn't pay a cent for them, but I saw them all. And I was in. I mean, I didn't miss a second of it. So it was really cool to be a part of it in 2015, win the tag team titles with Trevor Lee, and to come back around now and now be a part of TNA. And I love telling people that I'm a TNA star, TNA wrestling star. I think that's the coolest thing ever. And it's not something that I thought was going to happen. So I'm thrilled. And the feedback has just been 100% positive across the board. Like, nobody has scuffed at this decision, and it's just been people excited and thrilled about. And every show we've had since, the chants have been overwhelming. So it just feels great. It feels very positive. It feels like a giant step in the right direction for the company.
So, first of all, the person that you gave that interview to and talking about the hotbox, he appears on this show regularly. SP3 does. So,
yes, okay,
I gotta shout him out because we also talked
cool.
about it on this show. How you two had talked about that.
I wasn't sure if that was like a New York thing or people did that all over. I wasn't sure.
It's a little everything, but I mean, it was very New York in the context of conversation for you two.
Right.
I can tell you that much. Let's talk about, first of all, Jeremy, leaving out the most important part of your 2015 TNA run. You were a tag team champion, and not only that, you were a tag team champion going against the person that you're going to be teaming with at Final Resolution, and that's Edward Edwards. So you and Edward Edwards are going to be facing ABC for the Impact tag titles. How does it feel so many years later to be tagging with the guy that you were once across the ring with for those tag titles?
Well, I mean, to pull back the curtain here, I'd probably say Eddie's probably my best friend at TNA right now. I mean, we've really bonded over the years. We've had some incredible matches. I admire him bell to bell more than probably anybody on the roster. I think that highly of him. I think he's just one of the best there is. And back then, I actually had met him maybe a couple months before. We were booked on the same kind of tour of the UK and Germany and stuff. That's where I met him. And then the first time we wrestled was that whole little run there, and it was just like everything just clicked and gelled. And him and Davey as a team were just so good. They made things so just fun and enjoyable. And that was really how our relationship started, and it's grown over the years. And I know that graphic came out a couple weeks ago, and people go, well, that's a weird team, but it's kind of cool. I saw a lot of the feedback was that. But to me, I couldn't be more excited. And back to the earlier questions, we're working on matching gear for Saturday night too. So that's how excited I am.
Let's go.
I want to go back to 2021. I thought when you first came into Impact, a lot of it got lost because pandemic, right? And it seems like nobody wants to remember that era. I thought you were doing great work in Impact when you first came in during the pandemic. But one match that really stands out, Blindfold hardcore match, Jake something. Mm-hmm. What was it like putting this match together where we could hear the crowd, but it didn't look like there was any crowd, and blindfold matches are just tricky as it is. What was it like putting this match together? It
was fun. It's like, sometimes you just have a regular match and it is what it is. But this time you're like, your brain has to go overtime to kind of like, how can this make the most sense, but also be entertaining and fun? And, so there was a lot that we put into it in that sense. And then also, like you said, there was no freaking people there. So, challenging, right? But I enjoy that. It's something different. You come in, you're not doing the same old thing, you're doing something different, and you get your wheels spinning. I enjoy that as a performer, so I took it as a challenge, and I feel like I'm sure not a lot of people saw that, like you said, because it was pandemic era pro wrestling, but it was something I'm proud of, and at the end of the day, it was a lot of fun. And Jake something is incredibly talented, so he was a great person to be in there with.
I do want to continue to give you credit for that run when you first entered Impact. So for people who have not seen it, seek it out. When you changed, you did the roster cut with the lariat, changing from the elbow drop. Like, it's a lot of underrated stuff that I hope people, when they look back, again, pandemic wrestling, I don't know how many people look back on it fondly, but I thought when you really reinvented yourself from what we saw in WWE to what we saw in First Impact, very underrated, very good stuff. So I just want to put you over on that.
Well, that's also a testament to Impact and them letting me be me, right? Because you can't always do that other places. You kind of do what you're told, and it is what it is. You appreciate the gig and you're happy to be there, and you always hope for the best. But at Impact, it's always been more of a compromise and a collaboration, and that's something ultimately that I've really loved about working here for the past 3.5 years. It's artistic freedom, and I think in the world of pro wrestling, that's very important. And the pandemic pro wrestling, I will say this, I don't know if the fans will ever look back on it finally, but I will say this, the performers will, because it was a lot of fun and it was unique, and really good for camaraderie and bonding time. That kind of stuff that's ultimately pretty damn important.
I've heard your compatriot Cody Diener say he was working for the biggest fans, and those were the ceiling fans at Skyway Studios. So
that's good. That's a good one, yeah. But also, I gotta say this: like when I first went, it's like you're at a new job, you're in a new place. Like I know people there, but I want to impress, and there's fire in my belly. A year later, holy shit, every bump that we took in that place hurt, because like it's just like the adrenaline was just so low. You're wrestling at like 1 p.m. on a Tuesday, just trying to get your match done. And it's just like things that normally you wouldn't even think about because you're just boom, boom, boom going. Oh my God, the simplest thing, you just be like, God damn, that hurts so bad. And you're just like, just because it's just that extra oomph wasn't there.
The Brits have taken over Impact recently. We had Subculture. We've had Zack Sabre Jr. coming to Final Resolution this Saturday in Toronto. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up one Will Ospreay. Now, Will Ospreay has since announced that he has signed with AEW. However, he will be making an appearance with TNA at the Snake Eyes TV tapings in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. Your thoughts working with Will, not only at Bound for Glory and beyond, and also having him come back to TNA for this show in Las Vegas?
I actually, that tour I just referenced where I met Eddie, I wrestled Will Ospreay about 10 years ago. So, and I didn't realize how much older I was than him. When we got to catch up a couple of weeks ago when he was at Bound for Glory, I was like, holy cow. But obviously he's a megastar, awesome, a guy that truly loves TNA wrestling. So it's cool to have him. I thought we were going to have him for good. I really did. I thought maybe there would be a chance there that he'd be somebody that'd be sharing a locker room for years to come with. But I mean, I'm happy for him. And always happy when he's around because he's a big star. And actually, in him and Eddie in the UK tour, they had the match of the whole freaking tour one night. They main evented. It was incredible. So anytime he's around, TNA is going to be better for it. So
the Impact Digital Media Championship, you had a run with that, and I like the concept of the Impact Digital Media Championship, and I like that you defended it elsewhere as well. I thought you could do a lot with it. But what was your take on holding that title and what you were able to do with that title?
So they don't like me saying this, but I thought at the time I got that belt, it was kind of like a joke. It was like a laughing stock of a title. It had no real meaning or presence to it or anything. And then I took the mentality of like, you know what, I'm going to make this the most important belt in the show and take it, to the extreme. And I felt like I did my damnedest to do that with my performances and the way I carry myself and taking it to other shows and things like that. And I felt like I really brought the title up from where it was, which was kind of a laughing stock. So overall, I'm going to be ultimately very proud of that because I felt like I did that. And I got a Power Town action figure coming out with that title, so it will be enshrined forever. Something that I'm going to be forever proud of. So I'm glad by that.
Speaking of the Digital Media Championship, the Doc Combat match, one of my favorite matches that y'all bring out once in a while. You were involved in one. You've seen several since then. Is there a Doc Combat weapon that you wish so badly that you had thought of at one point?
No, so that's also up there with that Blindfold thing. Like, it's challenging to like put those together because it's there's almost like no middle ground. It's like wildly dangerous item or like stupidly safe item that even like a kid watching this wouldn't even think would hurt anybody, right? So you kind of have to like find the middle ground. I love the keyboard because the keys explode, new a la New Jack. I always think that's a freaking awesome spot. The whipping the mouse around and trying to bop somebody is pretty challenging, but if you get it done, it's pretty cool. But some of those things can be so dangerous. You kind of go through all the stuff during the day going, man, like I can't hit anybody with this. I'll kill them. But again, creativity, overload, challenging, bring it on every time for me.
Sorry, go ahead. Did you have one, Jeremy? Or
I thought you had partner, punch, and promo, Joel.
I do. And if we want to get there, I didn't know if you had a question first, but I can go to this.
Yes.
Okay. Brian Myers, we play a little game here called Partner, Promo, Punch in the Face, where I will pick
marry, kill, but
yeah, but a little more, relatable because otherwise I'm going to get canceled. We pick a few TNA superstars for you to pick whether you partner with them in a tag team match, have a promo off, or if you're going to punch them in the face in a singles match. It's a very important crop of people who are very near and dear to your heart. Here they are.
Is Pens are on this list? Because that's punch all day.
Oh, now I got to wipe them out because that was on my list. Maven, Cardona, and Swoggle have all been a part of TNA. Who are you going to partner, promo, and punch in the face?
Oh, my God. This is tough. Man, this is tough. Oh, man, I don't really want to punch anybody in the face.
They won't hold it against you. It'll be all right.
Well, I gotta I want to pick Matt for the promo because he thinks he's so good at promos, but I think I'm better than him, so I'd rather just show him up and put him in his place. And then, I mean, Maven is just so damn charming. Like, how could he not be my partner? But then I don't want to punch Swoggle in the face. It's tough. It's tough. But then again, punch Swoggle. Sure. There we go.
Sometimes the chat have a good idea.
Chat picked it. You got it. I'll punch Swoggle.
Brian, we want to thank you for joining us today. Let everybody know where they can find you at, and let everyone know where they can find you at on social media.
Everyone knows where I'm at on social media, but you can find me Saturday night at Final Resolution when I become the last ever Impact Wrestling Tag Team Champion and the first ever TNA Wrestling Champion of the new year. So that's an accomplishment I would love to have on my Wikipedia page. So check it out. Me and Eddie Edwards versus ABC, the worst tag team name in all pro wrestling. They're going down.
That's why we call them Ace of Bays on this channel.
Final
Resolution is this Saturday, December 9th at the Don Call Arena in Toronto. It's available on Fight TV, YouTube Ultimate Insiders, and Impact Plus. And of course, TNA Hard to Kill is Saturday, January 13th, 2024 at the Palms Casino in Las Vegas. It's available on pay-per-view. I will be there, and I look forward to seeing y'all there. Brian Myers, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thanks, guys. That was fun.
Will you punch Joel at the show this weekend?
Sure, if he wants it. Sure.
Okay.
Or if like Penzer's there and he ducks and then he's behind him.
Oh, dude, thanks.
Steve Macklin doesn't like Joel. Like a lot of people on the roster.
Yeah, what'd you do, Joel?
So,
I didn't do anything. Tasha Steeles has a problem with me. It's basically, if you're from Jersey, it's game over for me.
Oh man,
I know.
I'm a New Yorker. It's a big difference.
Oh, thank the Lord.
Yeah.
Will you be on my side then?
Yeah, as long as you're not friends with Penzer or on Penzer's side.
Nope.
All right, deal.
No, you and Penzer are friends. I'm pretty sure.
You're friends with. All right, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I gotta go. It's been
All
fun.
right. Thanks, Myers.
Thanks, Brian.
Oh, Brian Myers, ladies and gentlemen.